Hello and welcome to CX Today. My name is Charlie and today I'm delighted to be joined by Ben Booth, CEO of MaxContact. Ben, thank you very much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Just got back off holiday last week, so refreshed and ready to go. How are you?
Yeah, very good too. And I'm also raring to go and to talk about all things MaxContact in today's conversation that we're recording as part of our CX Trends series. And I think on the topic of all things MaxContact, maybe the best place to start this conversation is by simply asking you, for anybody that's watching this and doesn't know, to maybe know about the company. Could you give us a little bit of an introduction?
Yeah, we've been selling for around 6.5 years, so we're relatively new to the market space. And where MaxContact came from is, in its previous form, we were a reseller of contact center systems, and we resold systems for about 12 to 14 years. We were very successful at that. We had a large client base in the UK, and during that journey, we decided it'd be a good idea to write our own software and do it ourselves. It was back in the day when we were on premise and cloud was becoming a thing, and we decided to write our own cloud platform and saw a gap there. But the biggest reason we went along was actually we just saw a gap where we could offer, but it's more around service and support on the people, to be honest, and putting the service support on the people first. And that's where we came from. And 6.5 years later selling, we're going from strength to strength and looking forward to the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess that's that kind of white glove service is especially what differentiates you from maybe other companies that might kind of work with third-party consultants or something like that. And alongside that, MaxContact also does have a really good solution suite. And I guess that leads to my next question to you, which is kind of which of your products are really resonating right now with contact centers?
We're looking. There's a few areas where we're seeing a lot of uptake. I mean, everyone's looking at efficiencies, shall we say, how to become more efficient, and they're looking at that in numerous ways. So there is obviously digital. It is becoming more and more as a use case. It still isn't trumping voice, and I think also did show that. So what's happening now is we've seen the shift where there's that how do we do digital demand or drive digital deflection is being called, and what we're seeing is a real emphasis on agent efficiency now. So when we end that agent, how do we make them more efficient? How do we ensure we're treating the client in the right way, especially around areas like debt collection and vulnerability, utilities with what's happening with the energy market. So what we're seeing is not just agents' efficiencies, but how do you guarantee that service? So if someone mentions, you're struggling with debt or you're doing energy debt collection, which we have as a client, and this was a quote from one of our customers, if you hear on the call that they've got a dialysis machine, well, actually, if the energy get cuts off, it's the risk of their life. And you need to make sure that that's being handled in the right way. And how do you guarantee that on all interactions across all calls, as well as vulnerability, mental health, and other things? So analytics, but also real time, not just post-call analytics, which historically QA, auto QA is what people went for speech analytics. It's now being agent assistance. It's next best answers or ensuring the next best answers or the right information on how do you help people who are vulnerable and provide that experience for them and consistently across the user base as well.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting actually with all the cost of living and things, those sectors that you mentioned there, such as debt collection, finance, and so on. I mean, the vulnerable customers that they're now dealing with, I think there's some really interesting use cases. Maybe this is taking us down a rabbit hole about how you can apply kind of MaxContact speech analytics to support agents in supporting those customers in isolating traits of vulnerabilities and suggesting next best actions. Sorry, as you say. I think yeah, there's so much to that, and I'm sure we could speak about that lots more. But in this kind of limited time frame conversation that we have, maybe it's best now to look ahead to the future for MaxContact. So I think it'll be really interesting to ask you kind of what's currently on your roadmap and how you think that will benefit your customers in the next kind of 12 months.
Yes, more of the same, to be honest. So starting with the technologies that are out there at the moment, we're still seeing anything that can improve that experience and efficiencies. So even contact centers now struggle with routing the right interactions to the right agents who can better handle them and increase first contact resolution. It's a stat that's been around for a long time, but it's still a challenge. especially with the increase in contacts across all the different channels. And simple examples are email routing. You've got support and all emails are coming to a service desk. Using technologies where we read the email first, provide next best action to the client, or route what the cases are, or the ticket's actually about, to the agent that can actually resolve that problem first time, is actually becoming more and more of a priority. So we're looking at technologies there. So that's your natural language understanding, and then more around how you do the skills on your agents rather than just you have this skill and you can do it. Now, with the way it's got a lot more complicated in contact centers because it is a highly skilled job, how do you do that skill matrix for agents so you can actually do more priority routing and even a bit of profiling on routing as well? All the way through to, as we've just discussed, next best actions on calls. So making sure debt collection is a perfect example, or even finance, where they're trying to help people. And if you hear certain things, that actually the right information is being provided to help people out. And that could be external services or information. It's not necessarily related to that company. But how do you create that consistency and guarantee it across large contact centers? Yes, training is there, but we're not in the contact centers anymore. 50% of contact center agents work from home now, and the onboarding time's reduced. So what we're adding to the product is that understanding those links in, and also looking in the next 12 months at how we can do more real time, so it's not reactive, at which point you've already made that mistake, and it's actually more agent assisted. We're not looking at removing the agent, we're looking at how we can help them. And I think that's an important differentiator when we're talking also about the agent experience in those jobs, so they can better serve the clients and feel better and make sure they're doing it the right way. The second area we're focusing on, we hear a lot about customer experience. We always do. Everyone does. Everyone's focused on customer experience. Agent experience is there for us. But also management experience. They're usually the people in between the two that are getting asked the hard questions and being asked to deliver the answers to provide these efficiencies and how you improve the business and its functions. So what we're looking all the way from UI UX redesign, where all the quality of life improvements are coming from our clients. So we ask them, and we've got design partners with clients that we utilize that provide the input in how we develop our roadmap going forward, all the way through to how you serve that information up. So the problem in contact centers now, especially as we add tools like speech analytics, is there's so much data. We've converted all the calls to text. Okay, great. But how do you get the information out of that data? And historically, what you see is it's the auto QA forms, as I mentioned before. It's reactive. It's following a guided workflow or principle. And you see contact centers focusing on, you took a bad call, and by the end of the call, the client was happy. Well done. But why were they calling and they were upset in the first place? That's actually where the focus needs to be. And that quite often is ignored when we're looking at these tools and technologies. So what we want to focus for the management experience is how you extrapolate that plethora of information that now is available to them to actually provide meaningful insight so they can make decisions in improving the efficiencies, the training, the onboarding into contact centers rather than being so reactive. Because the issue now with data today is just too much. And people are typically, when we go into contact centers, it's seeing the wood through the trees. They've got the data and they've got reports and they've got the information, but it's not giving them what they need to actually make a difference. So that's actually a big area we're focusing on over the next 12 months, at how we've got the data and how do we provide those anomalies or trends that we're seeing that change month to month, quarter to quarter, and serving that up. Whereas historically, especially around analytics, you used to have to put the information in you wanted to look for it to tell you how often it happened. I mean, even our service desk, the reason people contact our service desk this year isn't the same reasons we were getting the contact a year ago. So even we use our own technologies to recognize new trends. And I'd say what's out there now is the self-learning, the machine learning that's come in, where you don't have to program that in. It can actually serve it up to you with a little effort, which is really exciting actually at the moment in the industry.
Yeah, I think what I really love about that, Ben, is how entrenched your roadmap is with the feedback of your customers and the actual challenges that contact centers are facing right now. I think that's brilliant. It's not such as, there's this awesome new feature, what can we maybe do with that? It's very much focused on the problems that contact centers face now, and I think that's a really great roadmap that you kind of mapped out there. And I wish we could delve into it more, but I'm afraid we don't have much more time on this call. I'm sure maybe on another call.
Give you one line. all companies, all software companies, their job is to provide value to their clients.
Mm.
How do you ensure you do that the most? By asking your clients what would add value to them. It's not a complicated concept. So yeah, involve your clients in the process is a big part of our business.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And as I said, I'm sure we could discuss that much further and what your clients are giving feedback you're getting and how you're working on that. I think it's fascinating, but I think maybe it's the best place to end today's conversation. So thank you very much for joining me today, Ben.
Thank you.
Excellent. And also thanks to everybody for watching. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone.